Alex Jones goes nuts after Jasmine Crockett exposes his lies live on air. The moment that headline came to life, the political and media landscape was shaken in ways both expected and unforeseen, because Alex Jones, the controversial conspiracy theorist whose career has been built on shock value, aggressive rants, and a history of spreading debunked narratives, found himself unprepared for the sharp, relentless, fact-driven rebuttal delivered by Representative Jasmine Crockett, a rising star in American politics known for her razor-sharp intellect, legal expertise, and refusal to be intimidated by the chaos agents of the far right. And what unfolded live on air was not just another loud segment meant for ratings but rather a watershed moment in which truth, accountability, and resilience clashed with deception, bluster, and performance, leaving millions of viewers riveted and commentators buzzing. Jones, who for years has thrived on theatrics, misinformation, and emotionally manipulative storytelling to stoke outrage among his followers, seemed to believe that Crockett would either play into his antics or lose composure under his trademark barrage of interruptions and insults. Yet what he did not anticipate was her calm but unyielding style that blended prosecutorial precision with passionate clarity, systematically dismantling his claims one by one, exposing not only the falsehoods he tried to peddle during that very broadcast but also the long pattern of deception he has employed across his career, from Sandy Hook denialism to COVID-19 conspiracies to the many unsubstantiated allegations he throws into the public sphere. And as she spoke, Crockett's tone carried the weight of evidence, with direct references to court rulings against Jones, the testimonies of grieving families he had defamed, and the millions in damages he owes as a result of defamation lawsuits, while also contextualizing his behavior within the larger machinery of disinformation that corrodes democracy, weaponizes distrust, and exploits the pain of ordinary citizens for clicks and cash. And instead of shrinking from the challenge or deflecting with vague language, she doubled down, turning each of Jones's interruptions into a showcase of his desperation, contrasting his shouting and red-faced anger with her steady command of facts. And viewers couldn't help but notice the symbolic power of the moment. A black congresswoman, often underestimated or subjected to caricature by conservative media, standing unflinching against a seasoned provocateur whose brand depends on spectacle, effectively stripping away the illusion of strength he projects by revealing the fragility that comes when lies are confronted with truth. Jones, unable to regain control of the conversation, resorted to louder yelling, wilder accusations, and increasingly incoherent tangents, claiming censorship, deep state plots, and media witch hunts. But Crockett deftly parried each outburst, reminding the audience that accountability is not persecution, that freedom of speech does not protect defamation, and that the families harmed by Jones's reckless words will live forever with the scars of his cruelty. And as social media clips of the exchange went viral, many observers framed it as a career-defining moment for Crockett, who not only defended herself against Jones's rhetorical onslaught but also turned the spotlight on broader issues of integrity in public discourse, showing younger audiences in particular that leaders can fight misinformation without stooping to its level. The psychology of the clash itself became a subject of fascination, with analysts noting how Jones, accustomed to dominating with volume and aggression, found himself losing ground against Crockett's strategic patience. Where every pause, every citation, every refusal to be baited chipped away at his authority, and even conservative outlets, though predictably defensive of Jones, struggled to spin the segment in his favor, as the optics of him unraveling while Crockett remained composed were undeniable, and the long-term implications may stretch far beyond a single broadcast, as it highlighted the growing cultural divide between those who profit from destabilizing truth and those fighting to protect it, between demagoguery and democracy, between spectacle and substance. And in the aftermath, pundits speculated about how this clash could embolden Crockett's national profile, potentially setting her up as a prominent voice in the Democratic Party and a feared opponent to the machinery of disinformation, while Jones's supporters doubled down, framing him as a victim of political persecution. Yet the larger public reaction leaned toward admiration for Crockett's refusal to be silenced, with hashtags trending, late-night shows replaying the most heated moments, and countless commentators describing it as the definitive takedown of a conspiracy peddler live on his own turf. Indeed, what made the encounter especially significant was not merely the factual corrections Crockett provided but the way she humanized the stakes, reminding audiences that behind Jones's entertainment, there are real victims, families who lost children in school shootings mocked as actors, citizens misled into dangerous health choices during a pandemic, communities torn apart by the amplification of baseless rumors, and that holding him accountable is not about partisan score settling but about defending the very possibility of shared reality. And this moral clarity, paired with her eloquence and resolve, stood in stark contrast to Jones's erratic, almost performative meltdown, a meltdown that will likely be replayed for years as an example of what happens when a professional agitator, unmoored from the cushion of friendly platforms, is forced to confront a skilled opponent armed with truth. Furthermore, the spectacle demonstrated the shifting power dynamics of media itself, where politicians like Crockett, savvy in both legal argument and digital communication, can bypass traditional filters and speak directly to millions, leveraging moments like this into viral traction that carries political weight, and the enduring image of Jones sweating, yelling, and pounding his desk while Crockett calmly delivers her points may serve as a metaphor for the broader clash between rage-driven misinformation ecosystems and fact-based leadership seeking to reclaim the narrative space. In retrospect, one could argue that the showdown will enter the annals of political media confrontations alongside iconic moments where demagogues were exposed by those who refused to yield, and though Jones will undoubtedly continue to rage against the outcome, painting himself as the misunderstood prophet silenced by elites, the record is clear. On that day, live on air, Jasmine Crockett not only exposed his lies but also revealed the hollowness of his persona, leaving him diminished in credibility, rattled in demeanor, and forever associated with the moment he went nuts, because the truth, unrelenting and undeniable, finally cornered him in a way he could not shout down.